Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Brittany, and in today's video I wanted to give you guys an update on my progress with the 100-day challenge. If you haven't seen any of my previous progress videos, then I want to explain that I'm doing the 100-day project for the first time ever in 2024, and I'm doing it a little bit different. So instead of doing the same thing every day for 100 days or building upon the same thing, I divided the 100 days up into 12-day segments, with the remaining 4 at the end for like my favorite things to do again. And for this 12-day segment that I'm going to be covering in this video, I decided that I wanted to make paperclip bookmarks. It was something that I had seen a couple different places, and because I do read a lot and I have a lot of pen friends who enjoy reading, I also collect bookmarks, and I just decided that it was something that I wanted to try and learn to make. So I'm just going to turn in my book where I've been keeping track of all of it and show you what I've done for this. I think April 6th was the first bookmark. Okay, so here are all my cute little bookmarks that I ended up with, and I'll just go through and give you like an up-close look at all of them. So for April 6th, it was my first day of this 12-day segment. I made this little ribbon paperclip bookmark, and to do that I just did a loop through the paperclip and then pulled this ribbon up through it, and then on the ends I finished it with a little indented triangle, and then to keep it from fraying I put a little bit of fray check on the edges. So that was day number 1. Then day 2, April 7th, I made a button, a vintage button paperclip bookmark, and I didn't sew it. I instead used super glue, and this super glue is not like your typical super glue that you would get at, say, you know, your regular store. It is a professional grade leather super glue that I use with my leather book making. So you definitely need to be careful with that if you do want to use that, because when you get it on your skin it really dehydrates your skin and it can cause cracking. So I try to use other instruments to apply it, like a Q-tip or, you know, a toothpick or something like that. So, and then for the 3rd day I wanted to do a little charm, a dangling charm, and I had a couple of these little star charms left over from another project. So if you've watched my channel, you know how much I love the stars, so that was very fitting. And to add that, I just, instead of putting the charm on directly with the little loop, I wanted it to dangle. Excuse me. So I used a head pin to create this little loop clasp. I don't know if you can see that. And then I just looped that onto the paperclip, and then so that it wouldn't slide off and get lost, I took earring backers or little pin backers and I secured it that way so that it stays at the end of the paperclip. For the 4th day I wanted to try beading. So I had a couple of these colored plastic coated metal paper clips, and I just decided that I was going to use like a Swarovski crystal. I had some of these larger seed beads, and then again I used a star bead, and red, white, and blue, made it patriotic, and I think it turned out really well. I just used some jewelry or a beading wire to secure those. For the 5th day, I had this enormous paper clip that a pen pal had sent to me. They had sent me some of their research on something that we were conversing about in our letters, and they secured it together with this large jumbo paper clip. And I wanted something that would stand out on this one because it is so large. So I went through my fabrics and ribbons that I had left over from like my book cloth making and my covers, and I just tore some. I used pinking shears on some of them, and then I cut some of my ribbons and laces and did the same thing that I did with the ribbon, only I didn't secure this one and I didn't fray check it because I thought it would look nice if it was all messy. So I really like that one. And then for the 6th day, I wanted to use some embroidery floss. Excuse me. But I didn't want it to be all the same color. So for this one, I used a couple of colors of embroidery floss that I don't use that often. And I just combined them. And then I did the loop through, pulled them together. And what I did was, as I held the paper clip, I did like an inch above with my index finger, and I wrapped it around and re-entered the paper clip to get this little like pom-pom effect. And then because that kind of like moved very easily back and forth on the paper clip, to secure it, I just did a couple loops around the top of the paper clip, and then I tied it and pulled the ends upward so that it would blend in. For day 6, I had seen the cutest little paperclip hearts, and I wanted to make those. So this is with Sashiko thread. I had some left over from another book project, and it took me a while to figure out how to bend the paperclip to get it to be the shape of a heart. But basically you just fold it in half and then you manipulate it a little bit to one side. And then this pattern with the thread is just a series of knots that you do over and over and over of the paper clip. So that one turned out really cute. The next day, again, I was working with some leftover fabrics that I had from other projects, and I made this little floral paperclip bookmark. I used some sequins and a seed bead for the center, and then again, to prevent fraying, I used fray check on the ends of the fabric pieces, and I just secured it to the paper clip with a couple stitches of thread. It's probably my favorite one. For the next day, I had learned how to make little felt birds, and I had some leftover felt from that project, so I made a tiny one and decided to stitch it onto a paper clip. So it is just stitched. And I did this by hand. The lesson where I learned how to make these instructed you to use a sewing machine, but I really enjoy hand stitching, so I just did mine by hand. And then for these pieces of fabric that I used for the beak, the tail, and the wing, I went around the edges with fray check. And then that's another one of those star beads that I chose to use for the eye. And originally I was going to put like some ribbon or embroidery floss braided little legs that would dangle off, but I was concerned whenever I would use it as a bookmark that those would, you know, cause the book to not close very well, and then they could get in the way or they could fall off or tear. So I just didn't add the legs, but I think it's cute without them. And if you notice, I don't know if it'll show up, the piece of fabric that I used for the wing actually has a little bird on it, and I positioned it on there purposefully like that so that it would be a bird within a bird. I really like that one as well. The following day, I was really inspired by a Pinterest post, and the lady had made like a little bookworm and attached it to a paper clip. So I couldn't figure out how that was done. So basically I took the same practice of knotting around the paper clip that I did in this heart one, and I used that in this little bookworm. Only I didn't attach it all the way. So I did 2 stitches here with the knot and 2 stitches here with the knot to attach it to this clip. And then I left the ends a little loose for the antennas. And then I just went in with a Sakura Micron Pigma pen to put little dots. I did try to stitch the eye with some thread, but you couldn't really see it, so I just went over it with that black pen. And then I took a Uniball Signo gold gel pen and kind of did a line across the spine of the worm's back. I think it turned out pretty good. And then the next day I wanted to try making a loop flower. And this was really interesting for me because I wasn't sure again how to make this. And basically what I ended up doing was I took a pencil and I taped the ends of a smaller piece of thread. This is wax linen thread. And then I used a longer piece of the same colored thread and I did the knot around the pencil, like I want to say 15 or 20 times. And then once I got enough length to be about like 1 inch on the pencil of the knotted piece of thread, I untaped the smaller piece and then slid it off of the pencil and then pulled the 2 ends of the smaller piece really tightly and tied it, and it gave me this little flower. And then that's just a bead that I used for the center, and I secured it with some thread. And then for the final day, I have a lot of these kind of like location point shaped bookmarks, and I wanted to try macrame because I've never done that, and I didn't have any of the thread or fiber that you're supposed to use for macrame, so I just used some more sashiko threads that I had left over. And you can see, I don't know if it'll show up, but you can see how I was doing the stitching where I would do 3 on this side and then 3 on this side to kind of give it this pointed little peak. And then the ends very messily just are tied in a loose knot. But that's my, I think this is my 5th 12-day segment. So we're past the halfway point of the 100-day project. And I have been getting a lot of stuff done that I've wanted to for a while now. I've tried projects that I've been interested in for a while, and I'm very happy with the results. I feel like some of these things are things that I might do again, or they're just nice skills to know, and it's helped me relax, so there's that aspect of it too. But for the next 12 days I'm going to be working on let me see if I have one here. I think I do. Little bead dolls. So this is the parts of a book that I'm going to be making here soon. But if you can see this little beaded doll, I'm going to be making those for the next 12 days. So if you're interested to see how all of those turn out, please stay tuned. If you enjoyed this content, please like this video and consider subscribing to the channel. That's a good way to support me, and you can adjust your notifications so that you'll be alerted when the next 12-day segment comes out. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye guys!